Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. Now, I'm looking over here, trying to make sure everything is working right. Okay, there I am on the screen. Okay, hey, how's everybody doing? Excuse me. I see. I'm gonna tell you what that is. No, I don't smoke. No, I haven't been smoking no weed or anything like that. It's ever since you got to listen to what they tell you to do when you come through a surgery or the hospital. They gave me this little. Remember that thing that I was blowing in every day to 10 times an hour. After 3 days, I was like, "Well, I'm breathing fine." I stopped doing it. Now every morning I get up, I have to. So I'm gonna go back to using that thing today. Follow directions. That's all I got to say. Welcome, everybody. TGIF, big weekend here in the Chicagoland area. It is the weekend of, there it is, right there. Discover the author and speaker in you, our full day workshop. We're so excited. We have a house full of people here already. They started arriving yesterday. Annie says so. Calisto came all the way from New Jersey yesterday, midday. And then last night, early morning, Misty Lane and her friends arrived from Texas, and people all from all over Ohio, New York. Will be coming in throughout the day for tomorrow's workshop. So I'm so excited. There's still time if you're local to get a ticket or two and come and join us tomorrow, where we're going to show you how to get out of your seat and on your feet with your message. So that's that. And right now we are live streaming LIVE all the way across Facebook, YouTube, Roku, Android, Apple TV, Periscope, and of course, with E360 TV Live. And I want to say hello, good morning to my good friend, the mayor of the world, Joshua T. Berglund. His show just completed before this one. If you haven't watched it yet, get up a little early and catch Gratitude Unfiltered. I guarantee you, you will not regret starting your day off with Joshua T. Berglund and Gratitude Unfiltered. Also, a nice shout out to dun, da, da, da. This week's it's the last day of the sponsor. We have a new sponsor starting next Monday. Maybe we'll get this wonderful sponsor back again. Today and this week we have had the same sponsor. This broadcast is powered by Personal Victory Counseling, where Dr. Brian Rybczynski and his team are helping people become triumphant over life's challenges one day at a time. You can reach them by phone, area 630-375-7416, or catch them on the web at personalvictorycounseling.com. So today, um, well, you see what I got right there, right? Excuse me. There it is again. Life is like a box of chocolates, you guys. Which one of those chocolates is your story? Why is this so important? Discovering the author or and the speaker in you. Our guest today is going to be the one to tell you exactly why. What a story. She is changing lives, fixing lives, improving lives, and living her best life all at the same time. Now, was it always that way? No. Our guest today is the aunt of John Tay Hall. Remember him? Jonte just had a baby, had a son. Jonte was one of the Globetrotters. Remember, he's been on the show, I think, a couple of times. Well, this is his aunt, and she has her own story, as we all do. And Carissa is a recovering addict. She is the executive director of Chris Chrysalis House. It is a recovery house. She herself is a recovering addict. She was addicted to heroin and cocaine, but she's now a certified addiction coach. She has her degree in, I think it's human services, and she also has her own nonprofit called Business Streets to Executive Suites. And we're going to talk about all that with her today. Now, she was up here waiting to come in. Now, I don't know where she went. I don't know where. I don't know where. But I have something for us to watch while we're waiting on her. So I am going to how do I do this? Oh Lord. Wait a minute. Wait, you guys. Let me go back to me. Hold on. Wait a minute. I had to bring myself back on the screen. I'm gonna come here. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's doing that stuff again. I don't know. Wait a minute, you guys. I'm trying to. Oh, oh, that's the screen was blank for a minute. Okay, so listen, I'm trying to find out one where my guest ran to. It was is it's like cold feet at a wedding, Carissa. They were having a lot of trouble because they were on a MacBook or something, but they did get in, and then she disappeared. She was using a hotspot. Maybe that's it. But I've got something to show you. I've got something to show you. If I can get them in here, where is that thing that allows me? I want to show you. Let me see. Let me figure this out. Hold on. If I no, I need that thing. Okay. I wonder what that is. Um, I've updated. That's not what I want. I don't want you to see that. Bear with us. You guys bear with us. All kind of stuff clicking around. Uh, 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 uh. I want to show you. Okay, wait a minute. Is that why? Okay, we got some issues. Anyway. Hi, John Tay. Hi, Carissa. Carissa, where'd you go? Type in, let me know. I see. Oh, Christian Baldwin. How do you say that? Deneen. Hi, Deneen. I love that name. Um, Cress clicked on join. Shelly Dale, good morning to you. I'm back on the screen. I was clicking all over the place because I was going to show you this documentary, but even live stream is showing its butt this morning. You know how the enemy is when you're trying to stop something good, but we're going to keep moving anyway. Ashley Taylor, give me that baby that's in the picture with you. So cute. Hi, the little baby. That's a little girl, right? She's awesome. Uh, okay, we're still in the room. It says I'm offline. I'm off, not offline. Go out and come back in. You're not in here. Go out and come back in because you're looking at me, so I'm not the one missing. Mm. Listen, you guys, while we're waiting on Carissa, um, this is a new addition this year to Bathrobe Moments this season. This is my bell of purpose. And what that means is, and I think you're going to get a great chance to use this a lot today once our guest arrives. What this bell means is every time our guest drops down something, lays down something that you can pick up, that you say, okay, I'm feeling that, I'm going to hit this bell. And that is your chance to show some love on the screen to let our guests know I'm feeling you, girl. I'm feeling you. Uh-huh. Woo, woo, you go, girl. What? Yeah. So that's what you do when it's something just too good, too good, too good. We're gonna get behind it and show some love. So, um, yeah. Did you hear me when I said, Carissa, doing it now? Okay, I guess you did. Sam Wilson downstairs watching this. Okay. Oh, and you're getting some people coming in. Chris, you better get back in here. Because I'm not offline. I'm here. You're looking at me. Um, where is Denon, you're welcome. Ashley, yes, thank you. Is that yes, I can have that baby? I'll come pick her up today. I'm not kidding. She's so pretty. What's her name, Ashley? Oh my God. Oh, Shantae, hi. Says hi, I'm in the room. What room are you in? Hi, Shantae. Um, excuse me. For those of you who have just joined, we're having some Amira. Oh, Uncle Loren loves you. Mm-hmm. Better arrange a visit, Ashley. Ah, that is so beautiful. I might have to get you on the show just so I can fall in love with that baby. So listen, you guys. Uh, so what? Give me a status update, Carissa. Carissa, what's going on? They were having some issues this morning. They were here, and then they just disappeared, and they're going out and trying to come back in. So bear with us. You know, good things are always worth the wait, always, and this is no exception. This story is absolutely incredible. So as soon as our guest arrives, here's what I want you all to do. Okay, because we all get a chance every day, multiple opportunities to be a part of something greater than ourselves. And today, once our guest gets in here and starts sharing this powerful, compelling, life-changing story, um, this room waiting on Carissa. Okay, I don't know what y'all are doing. They're up to something. Repeat what you guys did the first time when I was talking to you on the screen when I started at the top of the show. Hi, Wendy Meyer. Good morning to you. Oh, somebody just showed up. Okay, then. Y'all better quit. Y'all, worrying my nerves. Okay, wait a minute. Now I see. Now here's what I have to do differently because now it's not you guys. Now it's the show stuff acting all weird. You're back there somewhere. Okay, add to scene. There you are. Okay. So now I'm gonna break you down. Get thee behind me, Satan. You ain't messing with this story. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, now I'm bringing that up. I have become so techy. Oh my God, look at what I'm doing. Okay, sending her to live before anything else goes. Here come y'all. Here she comes. Mm, Look out, boy, she'll chew you up. I don't know about all that, but she is on her way. She should be moving across the screen and she should pop in anytime now. I see you on my screen. You see me?
Yes, I see you.
Okay, so I know they can hear you. You're moving across the sky in a bunch. Oh, there she is. Now you're going to pop up delayed over on our television screens all around the world and also on our Facebook screens. Any sec. There you go. Okay. We here now. We here. We here. Uh-huh. Eh, Okay, hold on. Who was it was just saying please don't try to dance? Let me tell y'all, you know what? Y'all gonna quit telling me that I don't have rhythm. I do, even if they do call me Uncle Carlton in my family, I can dance. I just freestyle. Y'all gonna quit for real, Carissa. Every time I start doing it, they start cracking on me, talking about sit down, Uncle
Um,
Carlton, sit down. But Carissa, look at them coming, look at them coming. You all put some love on the heart, some hearts and love on the screen. And help me welcome our guest today, Miss Carissa Christian. Carissa, I want to say prayers and stuff. You had a friend last night that needs some prayers for some healing. So we're putting that out there right now. Everybody send love and prayers for the and let me I don't know where to start with you. First of all, congratulations on what you have done. You and our stories are so similar. I introduced you to Misty Lane this morning, who's here for my event this weekend, and she had the same sort of a thing. She was out there in the streets addicted, and she was weeks away from being a surgeon when her life
mm,
turned around just like us, which proves to you and to everybody watching, it makes no difference where you're at, what you have, who you love, what your bank account looks like, how big your dog is. If something is coming for you by the name of an addiction, you better go in the opposite direction, right or wrong.
right.
Let me ask you something. Here's the question. I'm gonna start off and let you run with it. I always say this because when I was in my addiction, crack cocaine for almost 14 years, I had every great intention known to man multiple times over. But I'm telling you, I tell people today, those that have never gotten out there, that have never tried it, and are still thinking they can get dibble and dabble, I say this. Tell me what you say, Carissa. I believe outside of the power of true love, that the power behind an addiction can be the second most powerful force on this planet. What say you?
Yes, I would say that would be my higher power, God. Without him, I wouldn't have been able to get through this. I had no hope. I wanted to die. And, my prayers of my father and my family is what had me sitting here today because I stopped praying.
Amen. Now take us back. What was the year? What was going on? I know you was, young and fine as wine in the summertime.
Oh,
And when was it for you? When did you get all into this world of addiction and all that stuff? Was it in the 90s, 80s? When
yeah,
was it?
it was in the 80s. I grew up in the projects, and it was my complexion. I never thought I fit in. I was dark. Back in my days when I was growing up, all the light skinned girls got to play. So, I grew up with a complex. I felt like I didn't fit in. My father was strict. We were homey. We were poor. And, I just didn't feel good about myself at all. And then somebody introduced me to that stuff called crack cocaine and heroin. And then I thought I was
Girl.
highly barred.
Okay. So, can you back up and talk about this thing, this because it's not just in it wasn't in your head. I'm talking about the dark complexion syndrome. That has always been a thing. Even back to Rosa Parks, they chose her based on what was known in that time frame as the paper bag test. A woman of color had to be a certain light color to pass. So that's a real thing. But in
Hmm.
other cultures, the Indian culture, the caste system is very real.
Hmm.
So talk about what that's like for a young girl. What does that mean when you say, because you just didn't decide, I'm gonna have a complex about being dark skinned. What were you being bullied? What was it?
I was being teased, my entire life. People would call you Blackie. They would tell you that you were ugly. They would tell you had nappy hair and all of that. So I grew up thinking that, that I was just this ugly little kid that nobody wanted to be around. So what I did, because I was intelligent, I would, the California Achievement Test was out. So I would take everybody that live in my neighborhood California Achievement Test so they would be my friends. Because if I did your homework, you wouldn't tease me. You would like me.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
So you really are smart.
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, obviously, and you have been for quite a while. So, and you know what? I was kind of a smart kid too. I graduated with honors. I was the bookworm, but you know what? When it
Hmm.
came, and let me tell you something. When I took that first hit, it was on a joint, right? And the person said, "Oh, that." I was like, "Why is that smoke so thick?" And they said, "Because I'd smoked weed before." And they said,
Hmm.
"Oh, that's a primo." And I had no idea that one hit was gonna give me a taste. You know what I mean? Right, right.
Yes.
And like
Yes.
weeks later, you'd have thought I'd have been doing it all my life. I didn't need no weed with it. Give me a pop can, poke some holes in it, put some ashes on top of it, and I'm good to go. And that's how it was for years. Now, what about, listen, let's talk about, because we can laugh about how silly we were and some of the stupid mistakes. But when I tell people the story about how blessed I feel today on, say, just like we just left the holidays, and I every holiday now it comes through my yard of memories at least once, where I remember sitting in a trailer in Phoenix, Arizona, with 4 or 5 other addicts on Christmas Day, and our Christmas dinner was packages of condiments. Can you pass the
Hmm.
mustard? Ooh, give me, can I split this relish with you? That's, and really thought we
Hmm.
were doing something because we had no money, no food, but later that day we were still getting high. And I look back on
Yep.
that now and I go, how did we do that and not eat and not everything else that we needed to do? So tell us about when you started. Tell us what you want to tell us about that journey and tell us about Chrysali's house. Because obviously that was a life changing experience for you because you're there now. You're there today.
Yes.
Tell us
Yes.
about that.
So what happened? I went into the military. I went into the United States Air Force, and while I was in the military, I got gang raped. And so I left the military. I left, and while I was in the military, as a result of this sexual assault, I got into a relationship, didn't get any kind of treatment for it, and I cut this guy in the military. And when I cut him, they gave me a bad chicken discharge, which is a bad conduct discharge. So I
You
transitioned
cut
back
him
to
good.
Baltimore. Yeah, I cut him real good.
Ooh, ooh.
And when I transitioned back to Baltimore, I felt like I disappointed my father. I disappointed my family. And so what happened, when you start feeling a certain way, you attract these people. And so this girl introduced me to cocaine. And when she introduced me to cocaine, all those feelings of not feeling good enough, not being able to fit in, the shame and guilt. And then I met another girl and she introduced me to heroin.
Mm.
And then I met someone that introduced me to crack cocaine, and that's when my life went downhill. I became homeless. I was eating out of John Hopkins trash cans. And I had
John
58
Hopkins.
jelly. Yeah.
The one,
Yeah.
don't he live over on 14th Avenue, right behind Miss Pearly Mae? I'm just
Yep,
playing.
that's it.
I'm
That's
just
where I
playing.
was at.
I'm assuming
Yeah.
John Hopkins is what? Something there in Baltimore?
Yeah, it's a hospital, where a lot of people come around.
Oh,
I
John
saw it
Hopkins, the
some,
hospital.
yes.
You was eating out of their
Yeah, the
trash can?
hospital.
You was eating out of their trash can.
Yeah. Yeah, because they throw away a lot of good stuff like French fries, cold French fries. They would throw away little candy bars. Because when you're homeless and you're
Yeah.
running from the police, yeah.
Yes, Lord. I
So
remember. Yeah, rabbititis.
yeah,
So tell me this. Let's talk about this. Let's. Okay, so you were doing the heroin first. Because a lot of
yes.
people don't think that those two drugs go hand in hand. One of them is a
Oh, they
downer,
do.
and the other one is an
Uh
upper.
huh.
So explain that
Right.
mindset about why you would do
Okay.
both. Because usually a heroin addict love to sit and nod out. They ain't trying to be all. But then you got the crackhead who like, where'd he go? Which way to go? And they ain't trying to sleep, you know. And now we got somebody like you. So what were you doing? Was the heroin to bring down the crack, and then the crack was to bring you out of the heroin? What was it?
So what happens, after you become addicted to a drug, it stopped working. It stopped taking away the feelings of shame and guilt. It stopped numbing everything that you're going through. So what I did was I did the crack. And the crack just put me in a pace where I was just, going so fast that I couldn't have time to sit or think about anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would do the heroin and the crack would lift me up. I would be so down, and then I would smoke the crack cocaine and it would lift me up. And I'd be speeding all over the place. And when you're speeding, you ain't got time to sit and think about that I just went into my nephew's house and stole his Nintendo, that I didn't take my daughter to school, that I'm bringing all these men and people around my daughter, and she could have got raped. You don't think about none of that,
Right.
because everything was just numb. I was just walking around like a zombie. I
Mm.
was a zombie.
Mm-hmm. Burned bridges.
Yes, all bridges. I burnt all bridges. At the end of my addiction, I can remember, my daughter went to court with me. It was the day after her birthday, and I had got incarcerated. I can remember going to Home Depot and I was trying to steal something because somebody told me put everything in a cart and go through and they'll let you through. And I can remember as we was going out the door, she looked at me and said, "Mom, you forgot my toy that you brought me," not knowing that I had stole everything out of there. I can remember feeding her, cold oodles and noodles, because I didn't have any food,
Oof.
So, but I have a
That
grandson
kills.
now that has never seen under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So I make amends through him.
See, amen. Now see, there you go. There you go. Let's get some love on the screen, y'all. You know what time it is. Now listen. Here is what I find very interesting about you, and that I would love for you to talk about if you're okay with it. Is you know, and this is a real mindset. It's years and years and years since I was using and out there, and I just assumed when I hear somebody say, "Yeah, Peaches, she out there on that shit," da 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 da, and I go, "People still do crack." I think because I'm not doing it, that everybody quit. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you say, for instance, you drive a red car and suddenly you buy a black car. Now you see all the black cars. When you're using, you see air. You can tell. Oh, yep. They on their
Yep.
way to get some. They on their way. They get follow them. They know where it's at. Or
Yes.
they just got some. They can't wait to get home. You can tell.
Yes.
Right. And then you see people walking all during the night and early in the morning when the sun coming up, still standing out on the street corner looking around like, you know what I'm saying? You know that
Yes.
look. But
That
now
was
that I've been
me.
right, me too. But now that I'm away from it, it's almost like I don't see it around me. And so therefore I believe it's not there. But you live it every day because you're at the very facility that helped save you. You're saving others. So tell us,
Mhm.
what does it look like today, this epidemic of drug? Because it's not just crack. And I want to know, do you see people coming through your doors that have had experience with this fentanyl thing?
Yes. Yes.
Tell me what it looks like out there
Yeah.
now today, because we don't know.
So what it looked like is that at one time it was people coming into treatment that were, like 30, 35, but now they're starting off at 18. We have had several overdoses, it's just the epidemic is just off the chain. People have come in. These young women have had, maybe been in 18 or 20 treatment facilities and still just not ready to change. We have, people at the Chris's house that get discharged one day and the next day we're getting a phone call they didn't overdose on this fentanyl. That fentanyl is killing everybody. It only take like a fingertip for you to overdose on it. And most of our women who's coming into treatment now, they probably overdose between 10 to 20 times. Yes. So
Wow.
it's really, really bad.
I want to put something out there for you right now, and I'm hoping you'll say yes. Because I was just contacted maybe 3 or 4 days ago by a father who NPR radio did a story on their family and their 18-year-old son Charlie, who died earlier in the month from being at a high school party. Um, you know, took a line of coke that he thought like he had done before, like kids do. Kids can't. Nobody can just experiment anymore like you used to be able to. You know. Well, to be truthful, you never really could. Look what Bill Cosby was doing all those years. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I mean, but this kid took one line. His girlfriend went over to do something, or whatever, and anyway, he died within minutes. And so
Yes.
we're building out a 2-hour special to talk about this deadly fentanyl,
Hmm.
which
Yes.
you can't tell it's in there. It takes very little, and you can be
Yes.
gone the upper
Hmm.
room just like that. Scene. Bye,
Yes.
Felicia. To the left, to the left. So tell us about why, why, what was wrong with just plain old cocaine? Why is this even in there? They can cut drugs with anything. Why fentanyl?
It's a moneymaker. And my thing is every drug on the street now, I want everybody who's using, every drug on the street now is laced with fentanyl, marijuana, cocaine, PCP. Every drug is laced with fentanyl because it's a moneymaker. We as addicts and alcoholics, anything that make us feel good
Mm.
and give us that high euphoria, we're gonna do more. I can remember people with when I was out there on the streets, people would overdose, and I would say, "Well, where they get that from? There must be some good stuff. Let me find out where they got it from." Everything is laced with fentanyl. Those vapes, they are using them in treatment facilities and bringing in PCP. They smoking them out of the vapes they're using for marijuana, PCP, cocaine. Everything is laced with fentanyl. Everything.
Now, my mouth is hanging open because you said PCP. I didn't realize people were still doing PCP.
That's the drug of choice now, especially in Anne Arundel County and PG County. Everybody's on PCP, and it's laced with fentanyl.
Fentanyl. What about that thing? I see it in the television shows. They glorify it. You'll see, your main characters go out to a party and they pop in these pills called Mollies.
Yes, that's laced with fentanyl too. We take random urine results, and every woman that come in our drug of choice, and it's not, her drug of choice may be cocaine, maybe Molly's, maybe PCP, but fentanyl is an ingredient when we take the urine test. Everything is laced with fentanyl. Everything.
So what is it? Does it make it? So you're saying what it does is it takes whatever drug it's applied to and enhances it?
Yes, 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 yes,
So,
yes.
the weed might have just been like, wow, that's okay. I'm hungry. Give me past them Doritos. And then put the fentanyl on it, and you like,
Ah,
when the moon is in the
yeah, that's
sky,
it.
girl. Ooh,
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
I'm so fine. I mean, so I'm joking, but it must. Okay, okay. So let me say, let's talk about this. The face of the addict. I remember before I started using drugs, I thought that a drug addict looked like what I saw on the scary drug commercials. Somebody with
Hmm.
greasy long hair sitting with a sign out on the freeway, with a syringe hanging out of their arm. And that's not the face.
Exactly.
There are people who go to
Yeah.
work, they're functional addicts. Take us through that.
Mhm.
When was the last time you were surprised by somebody that came through your facility doors?
An attorney. Attorney came in dressed in a nice suit, and we were having a conversation, and I told my story, and they said, I was addicted to heroin for a long, long time. and on it's on methadone, maintaining on methadone. And I was just like blown. And and I hate when people tell me that you don't look like an addict. And I'm asking them, well, what does an addict look like? I don't know what they look like, but I'm here to tell you that I am one. I got high than Cooter Brown. I got high.
Oh, we used to
So
have a dog
yes,
called Cooter Brown when I was little. We did. Ah. Um. So, so how does a person go from being um a patient, if you will, a client inside of Chrysali's house, to being the head woman in charge? And, I
yeah.
mean, you know
So
what
what
I'm saying?
happened? I
And I just want to throw this in there when
yes,
you talk about it too, because a lot of people feel like nobody wants to go back. When you get clean and stuff, you don't want to go back to the scene of the crime. You don't want to be around, because a lot of people will say, "Aren't you worried about triggers? Aren't you worried that one person, that one day that you're gonna be in a moment of weakness, and somebody come in and they drugs you confiscated, and while you going to lock it up, that little voice start talking to you, girl, you know you want some of that. Go and take a little bit. It ain't gonna hurt you. Go on,
yeah,
girl." You know, talk about that, because that's a real thing. But you
yeah,
obviously know something, because you are
yeah,
back in there. Is that part of how you stay in the
yes.
heart of your sobriety? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Chris's house, helped me, gave me the tools to save my life, and this is my way of paying it forward. This is a way of me giving back. They tell
Mm,
us the only way to keep it is to give it back.
mm-hmm,
This is a way of giving these ladies that's walked through them door a shot of hope. They help me stay sober because it reminds me of what I used to be and where I don't want to go back to. So every
mm,
day I walk through Chris's house, it gives me strength. I'm that woman that comes to the door and that lady say I can't make it. That lady that's coming from Baltimore City saying that people gave up on her, she's never going to be nothing. I'm that lady to tell you that they lied, because I'm a living testimony that with prayer, support, and family love, this thing does work. There is a way out. And I'm that way out. As soon as a new woman comes through the door, I'm the first person to greet them and let them know that I love you until you learn to love yourself. I
mm.
know for me, it was important to hear somebody tell me that they love me. It was important for me to have, a sister that told me no matter what I did, she still was going to love me. It was important for me to have a father who was still praying. My greatest thing that happened to me when I was in active addiction, I can remember my father was dying of cancer, and I was riding past his window going into the detention center. But what happened, our higher power sometimes give us the opportunity to make amends. And the way that I made amends, my sister went out on a tour and she asked me to come to Virginia Beach and take care, her children. I didn't know how to parent. I didn't even parent my own daughter.
Mm.
But, God give us the opportunity to give back, and the
Oof.
way that I stay sober by working at the Chris's house, because it's a great reminder. I believe those who forget where they come from easy go right back.
Mm.
And I never forget where I come from, because I'm just closer to a drink or a drug if I forget how bad that pain was. And the pain was bad. And the other thing is that I have a picture of my grandson. Ain't no fentanyl better than my grandson.
Okay.
It can't get me no higher than my grandson gets me. His name is Peyton. So, every time I think about anything, my daughter told me if I use, I lose.
Mm.
And I'm not willing to lose, because I am a success story.
There you go. Absolutely. Ding, ding, ding. Let's get some love on the screen. So listen, you just said something that I think we need to, let's go back two steps down the sidewalk. When you said what you said, it made me wonder, and I know someone else is out there wondering too. So, do you sometimes? So, is it a constant? I'm trying to figure out how to say this, and that's weird because I'm from that world. Do you ever feel like just one wrong move and you could be back to that place?
And and the difference today is that I can change my thinking. When somebody told me I can change my thinking, I'm like, I'm gonna always think about getting high. But the difference is when I have a thought of it, I can change that thought.
Mm-hmm.
I go to 12-step meetings. I have support in a network. I have a higher power. I got, family. I'm to the point that only I can change my sobriety date. If I go to a restaurant and they selling alcohol and they bring me a drink, I smell my drink just to make sure that they ain't make a mistake when they brought me my food back at my dinner table. So what I do is every day I work on this. This is a disease of addiction that's for life. I don't set up the conditions or put me in high risk situations. When I go to Baltimore, because my mother still living in my color homes, when I go there, what I do is I go there for a purpose. I'm not out there trying to show people how fat to death I got because I'll be smoking crack. I go in and and if I go to the corner store, I usually take somebody with me in case I get stinking thinking. But what I do
Mama.
is I keep remembering my pain, and I remember the look on my daughter's face with disgust. She told me if they asked her to write my obituary while I was in active addiction, she said she would have wrote it and said it was a stranger. But she told me the day if she wrote my obituary, she would say that I'm a phenomenal woman. I can't
Wow.
ask for anything. She told me
Woo.
I am her shero. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I'm
yeah.
gonna just say, if I could speak in tongues, I'd have to say Hasa Babaka. But listen, I just love it, love it, love it. Everybody, if you are picking up what our guest is putting down, let's see some hearts, let's see some love, let's see some support. In agreement. Let's get an amen up in here. Thank you, John Tay Hall. Because there are many people out there that need to hear this. And right now, if you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself, hit that share button, invite some people. Somebody right now is thinking that tonight is going to be just another night for them. They're going to go out somewhere. They're going to think I'm just a weekend warrior. They were going to think it's just another party. And they're going to take that line. They're going to take that puff. They're going to take that pill. And fentanyl is going to be right there trying to steal their life. You could be a difference in how that all turns out. If you ever wanted to be a part of something greater than yourself, now's your opportunity, because somebody could come in and hear one word strategically placed within the right sentence or the right paragraph coming out of my mouth or our guest's mouth or one of the comments on the screen and decide tonight, when that choice comes, to make the right choice. There are only two, the one we make and the one we don't. So back to our guest, Carissa Christian. So tell us this. You know, I know that it's got to be hard because you see women who have children, you see what the children get put through, what the families get drugged through. And talk about this. How does it feel when you have expectations for some of your clients that far surpass the expectations they have for themselves because they just can't see that it can be different? They think that you're the lucky one. Well, that's just how it went for you, Carissa. You smart. You went to college. You
Mm-hmm.
this, because a lot of us addicts. I remember one of the roughest, toughest things for me was that I thought that just because I had quit using and I had 6 months, then a year, or whatever it was, at every marker, I thought that people should trust me the way that
Mm-hmm.
it was before I did what I did. And it took
Mm-hmm.
800 times more. It took so much longer to get back to where it originally was. So talk about that. And what do you say to people to keep them vested? Because it is hard. You think, don't they know how hard it was for me to stay clean for 6 months? And they
Yes.
still locking their purses in the trunks of the cars when I come around. They still like,
Yes.
where you been? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, because you know what happens? I used to hear that,
Yes.
and I'd say, well, you know what? If you're going to judge me and you're going to accuse me, I might as well go on and do it anyway, because all I needed was a reason.
Yeah. An
Talk,
excuse.
talk about it.
And it's so funny that you say that. We do have a lot of clients that don't make it. And my thing is, what I do is I just embrace them. And, you just got to accept that some people just not ready. And I can understand what you're saying. I know for the longest time I would go visit my family and I would be scared, I would be tired, and I would be sleepy, but I would be afraid to close my eyes because I didn't want them to think that I was nodding. Another, we would have family occasion, things would get missing, and I'd be like helping them look for it. And then I got to the point, the truth don't need no justification. Every time that I go to the bathroom and take and use the bathroom, I take my own urine and I know that it's negative. But it's real difficult. You have to change your thinking, you know. because some people probably still, I can remember going to visit down in McCullough Homes, and this lady say, "Oh my God, I thought you was dead." I say, "No, I'm not dead," and it's people still probably think I'm using, but guess what? I know I'm not.
So you saying you walked around the corner, she was like, "Girl, they told me you was dead." You know?
Ah,
Oh my God. So you
yes,
literally
yes,
had somebody see you, and when they say you look like
yes,
you've seen a ghost.
yes. I was like,
Wow.
"No, it's me, it's me, it's me. Yes, it's me."
Wow. Now let me ask you, do you speak and go out and share your story with people outside of the facility?
Yes, I do it all the time. I started my own business called Streets to Executive Suites. My sister came up with that logo because it really explains who I am. I've been
Okay.
to the streets, and now I'm program director of a $4.5 million company. And who would ever thought the day that I came in there with shackles that I would be the program director of that program? So my goal is to go out for those women or anybody that think there is no way out. I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. And I believe as long as you got breath, there's hope. As long as people praying, it will work out. I can't imagine the family members. When I got sober, my mother told me that her and my father used to fight over the phone because they was afraid to answer because they thought they was going to phone call, that I was dead. I
Mm.
never got a chance for my father to see me sober, but I look up and I say, "You know what, Daddy, I finally got it." He told me he wasn't giving up on me until the fat lady sang.
Mm.
But my life today is beyond my wildest dream. A lot of people play the Mega Millions, the lottery. You know, I don't play that because I hit the Mega Millions once I got sober. So
Oh, hallelujah.
hallelujah.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes, yes.
I feel you. I
So
feel you. And you know what? Let's hit on this one real quick because somebody out there needs to hear this word. I was just saying last night, you know, I remember, and this is important for anybody, no matter what level you're at in your sobriety, what level it is, at whatever you're going through, whether it's domestic violence, whatever your test and tribulation, your trial, your fire is about. I want you to know something. When I wasn't doing any of that stuff, somebody was talking shit about me. When I was in the midst of my addiction on the street, stanking and stanking, thanking, and everything that went with it, boosting my ass off. Somebody was talking shit about me. Even last year and the year before, when I was landing magazine covers, starring in television shows, writing number one best selling books, somebody
mm-hmm,
was talking shit about me. But what I've
mm-hmm,
learned is that you know what? That's going to always happen. It makes no difference. What makes a difference is what I say and think about me.
mm-hmm.
And right. And Carissa, because I know how hard it is when you look into the eyes of someone who really believes that you people like you and me, we're the lucky ones. It could never happen to a person like me. But you know what? And I want you to touch on this before we get out of here. I had to go back. I had to go back to the original me, that little boy, that version of me that I had left behind. 22 homes in the foster system. You talked about being bullied because you were dark skinned and they said you're ugly and your hair nappy and this, that, and everybody can relate to that. We've seen the color purple. That's a real thing. But you went back and you rescued that girl and you brought her to the executive suites. I rescued that little boy and I brought him to everything I do today. Tell us how you help
We
people
have
do that.
technical difficulties.
Why? What's wrong?
I can hear a little bit. It's going in and out.
Okay, so why don't you take us out? Tell us this. Tell us this. If you could go
It's
back,
yes.
can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. And I didn't hear some of what you were saying.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, a little bit. It's just like, it's like muffling.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If you could go back and tell the younger version of you one thing, what would you tell her?
What I would tell me is that I am good enough. I've always been good enough, and I am beautiful. And I would tell the young of me is that, it's never too late to follow your dreams. And I will tell the person, and I will tell me that, I love you.
Hmm.
I love you. I love you.
Yeah. And I can sense it. I see it on your face that and I know that feeling. I remember looking at myself in the mirror and just saying how much I hated myself and look what you've done. And because how every time you said I'm not going to mess up this money. I'm not going to lose this job. I'm not going to wake up Monday morning. Back then I smoked cigarettes and I wake up, I wouldn't have money for no cigarettes. I didn't have money for lunch. I didn't have money to get on the bus to go if I did have a job. And I would sit there and I would hate myself so much. But today,
Ah, ah.
I have a love for myself and others that far
Mm-mm.
outweighs even rational understanding. And so,
Yes.
tell us this. How can people find you? I wanted to show the documentary. Tell everybody about the documentary so that they can get over to YouTube and take a look at that. It's a beautiful piece. Um, not
Mhm.
too time consuming, but it's full of golden nuggets. Tell them how to find that and find you if they want to help out or donate to what you're doing.
Okay. And my name of my company is Streets to Executive Suites. You can go onto YouTube or Facebook. It's Caressa Christian, Carressa, Christian like the religion. And you can just get on it as a nonprofit organization. I got a clothing line. I got the shirt on. I don't know if you can see it.
Uh
Street. Hey, I have to get
oh.
you one, okay, boo? I
Okay.
got you. I got you. So you can just check me out. I'm all over YouTube. I go out and I talk all the time. I'm all over YouTube. So, and we have another documentary coming up. It's a follow up of how my disease of addiction had affected my daughter and my sister, and my grandson too. So just follow me on YouTube. I'm all over. You can
Absolutely.
contact me at 443-839-4679. You can call me all the time. I'm
Oh,
one of those to pick up the phone, especially for someone who's suffering. I talk to
wow.
family members too. So just call me, talk to me, hit me a messenger. We can talk it out.
Wow. I love it.
I
I
even pray
love it.
with you too.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Okay?
Right. Because you know what? Do you know how badly I wish somebody would have made that offer to me when
Mm-hmm.
I was out there sitting in a hotel room watching the clock because they about to come put me out. And
Uh-huh.
all it takes is one word at the
Mm-hmm.
perfect time, within God's perfect plan to change or save someone's life forever. And I want you all to know that. And right now, I want to say to everyone that is listening, anyone that's under the that's underneath what we're saying here, they can hear our voices. If you or someone is troubled with any type of addiction, I don't care where you get it. Just get out there and get some help. Find
Yes.
some place. There are so many opportunities. It can be you that finds their way through, just like Carissa, just like me, and like hundreds and thousands and millions of other people who did not decide that they were going to die within an addiction. They decided, I'm going to live.
All right.
So, if you have a story, if you know someone who has a story that is an illuminating conversation, real people that are willing to have real talk about real issues, send them to me. And they can have their chance right here on Bathroom Moments, like Carissa did, and millions of others will before it's all said and done to share their story. Your story was designed to save someone from what you lived. You are giving out free tickets so people don't have to stand in line and buy their own. So give people your ticket, your story, your truth. Carissa, I love what you stand for. Excuse me. And um, if you had a final thought today to leave the viewers with, what would it be?
My final thought was that this disease of addiction, this opiate epidemic, is really terrible. But I want you to understand, for the family and for the person who's saying that nobody loves them, I want you to tell you that I'm going to love you until you learn to love yourself, and there is a way out. I got so much love. I had compassion for another human being. Addicts and alcoholics, we are the most wisest people in the world. So
Yes.
for that woman that's suffering, that man that's suffering, just know it's somebody out here that loves you and believes in you, and it's me.
Carissa, real quick, if people like how many women are you servicing currently in your facility?
We have 35 women, women and children. We do allow the mothers to bring their children to heal with them. And then we have 19 beds of transitional housing for single women. And it's located 1570 Crownsville Road. We deal with core current disorders, mental health, and substance abuse because you can't treat one without the other. So my number at Krista's house is 410-974-6829. It's just for women, and we meet all the needs of women who are struggling with addiction. A lot of women don't want to come to treatment because they have nowhere to take their children. But your children can live there with you. A lot of women don't come to treatment because of transportation. We transport you everywhere. Chris's house is the best treatment facility in the United States of America.
Wow.
If it save a heroin and crack addict like me, it can do it for you. Call me.
Mm.
Call me.
See, there we go. That's what I'm saying. Now, listen, put those numbers in the comments when we get out of here and people can find them. I want you guys to share
Okay,
this out,
okay.
do your part. And if, do you guys, are people able to donate things like, do you need
Yes.
clothing, bedding? Is there, can
Yes.
you put an address in where people can ship things to? Because people are watching this from all over the world and we want to be there
Okay.
for you. So tell us about that. What's your immediate needs? What's the most important need?
The most
The
important, and
most
most of our
important, and most of
ladies,
our ladies,
are homeless.
are
They come
homeless.
in
They
like
come in
me.
like me.
Most of our
Most of our
women
women
been
been
involved in
involved in
human
human
trafficking,
trafficking,
something I
something
was
I was
involved in.
involved
I
in. I
didn't
didn't
know it
know it
was
was
human
human
trafficking
trafficking
because I
because
had
I
a
had a
pimp
pimp
who would send me out there, and then he would just give me a pretty dress, and I thought, that I was Madonna, that I had arrived.
Mm.
So, they come in there with nothing. So we have women. Most of
most
our
of our
babies
babies
are
have
have been
been
exposed.
exposed.
So
So
we
we
can
can
do
do
Pampers,
Pampers,
wipes,
wipes,
clothing, shoes, monetary donations. Because Chris's house is nonprofit.
We can write it
So
off.
anything that you can give, or volunteer, somebody just to come in and do a group, somebody who just to come in and just give the ladies a hug,
Mm.
somebody just to come in and say that we believe in you. Because society can be so cruel on addicts and alcoholics until they hit their home. Because it don't discriminate at
Last
all.
last question. Take us back to that day, because I know it's happened many times over, but take us to the most recent one where you get the news that one of your women didn't they lost the battle.
Hmm.
What is it about, how do you get out of that to keep going? Because I don't know if I could do that. I don't know.
And hmm And it's so funny. It was last Valentine's Day. I was sitting at a dinner
Oh.
table. I was having dinner. I got a phone call from my client. She was in the ambulance. She was on her way to the hospital. And through her overdose, she called me. She said, Miss Caressa, I just overdosed. And I said, well, where are you? I said, I'm on my way. I met her at the hospital. When I got there, her mother was upset. And then probably a year later, I got another phone call that she had overdosed and died. And the way that I get through that is that, sometimes God take a life to save a life. And so
Mm.
what I do is I use that experience and let people know that this disease of addiction is real. So what I do is I look at that lady who, may be struggling, and I give her more help. I just share that story that, thank God. I always say when I go into a room and I speak, right now somebody's overdosing. While we're talking right now, somebody's overdosing and some baby's being removed from their home. And thank God it's not you, and thank God it's not me. So I use those stories when a women overdose and die. We have a woman now who mother comes to our facility on her birthday every year. She said because that's the only time, that she, you know, had peace with her daughter. I can remember we had another lady that was really, really close to my heart. I told them if they go out, she was a staff member. I told her if you go out, I'll come look for you one time. I went to Baltimore City. I found her. I tried to get her treatment, but she just wasn't ready yet.
Wasn't
I got
ready.
a phone call that she died alone on a bench in Baltimore City. And the way that I make amends and everything for what I've done to society is that I stay sober for them. I just got to stay sober and keep them seats empty for those addicts and alcoholics that may want to sit beside me in a 12-step meeting. I
Mm.
just stay sober. Mm-hmm.
God bless
Yep.
you. Thank you. We're out of time today, but you have an open invitation to come back anytime. And everybody watching, The numbers are throughout the thread, the comments. Find it, do something, share this out, share this out, share this broadcast out today. Somebody may hear that number and use it, and their lives can be saved. Okay. Thank you so much, Carissa
Thank
Christian,
you.
for all you do and for what you continue to do, and for your team, because you don't do this alone. And so we're grateful for all of you and the example you are. And thank you to all of you for watching us today. Please have a wonderful weekend. If you're in the Chicago area, join us
Thank
tomorrow at
you.
my event, the Discover the Speaker and Author in You, out at the White Eagle Golf Club. We'll see you there tomorrow. Be blessed, and remember, in order to be the blessing, you first have to see the blessing. Thank you, Carissa. Have a wonderful weekend. Mwah.
You too. Thank you so much. Bye
Bye,
bye.
everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye bye now.